Jos Verstappen has spoken out for the first time following the dramatic driver swap at Red Bull. After just 2 races, it was confirmed on Thursday morning that Liam Lawson would return to Racing Bulls from next weekend's Japanese Grand Prix, whilst Yuki Tsunoda has been promoted to partner Max Verstappen at Red Bull. Lawson's 2-race spell for Red Bull is officially the shortest of any former driver of the Milton Keynes-based team. However, his form is not the cause of the change. This is despite Lawson having failed to score points in the opening 2 rounds and progress past the first stage of qualifying in any format. He qualified 20th twice in China. Red Bull has insisted that the change has taken place due to the Austrian outfit requiring Tsunoda's experience to help the team improve the RB21. Several issues have been encountered with the RB21 over the first 2 events in Australia and China, with even the reigning world champion having complained. Lawson was having immense problems trying to extract performance from the car, whilst Verstappen is yet to qualify or finish outside the top 4. Nevertheless, the New Zealander has received significant support since his return to Racing Bulls was announced, including from Jos Jock. Commenting on Racing Bulls' official Instagram post welcoming Lawson back to the team, Jos wrote, "I really hope you go and do a fantastic job. He deserves to be in F1. Max Verstappen has demonstrated his displeasure at the driver switch between Tsunoda and Lawson by liking a post by Dutch racing driver Guido van der Garde, which stated the treatment of the Kiwi driver was tantamount to bullying. Lawson has reacted to the move with graciousness, posting on social media. "It's tough, but I'm grateful for everything that's brought me to this point," he said, adding his appreciation to the Racing Bulls team for his new opportunity. Yet internally, within the Milton Keynes-based team, the blame game has begun. When Lawson was promoted, Christy Horner stated that the choice between him and Tsunoda had been a tight decision. The Red Bull team boss said it had split the room in direct contradiction to the claims Dr. Marko is now making. Red Bull Racing have been lambasted in the Formula One media, with a number of senior writers calling the treatment of Lawson as cowardly, incompetent, and downright deplorable. Regardless, Red Bull have couched the driver switch in terms of the need to improve the tricky-to-drive RB21, a role they claim Tsunoda is better qualified for than Lawson with his experience of just 13 Grand Prix. The F1 world has been waiting with bated breath for the thoughts of outspoken Jos Verstappen, who has repeatedly clashed with team boss Christy Horner since the start of the 2024 season, at times claiming his leadership is tearing the team apart. Of course, this was the result of a tangled love triangle, where Horner allegedly got the girl whom Jos had previously pursued. The female employee involved was dismissed by Red Bull Racing last season, has launched a legal claim against the team in the UK's employment tribunal process, which will be heard in January 2026. Yet for now, Horner is focused on damage limitation over the Lawson saga as he attempts to focus the team and its drivers on the task ahead in Japan. Today, Jos finally broke his silence over the demotion of the New Zealand-born driver, but his comments were by his standards mightily reserved. Following a post from the Racing Bulls official Instagram feed welcoming Lawson back to the team, "I really hope you go and do a fantastic job. He deserves to be in F1. The opportunity for Jos Verstappen to unleash another tirade of abuse upon the Red Bull team boss appears for now to have been resisted by the former Benetton F1 driver, and the restraint in his reposes to date has truly been remarkable." Yet the matter is clearly one of an internal dispute in the Red Bull Racing team, as Dr. Helmut Marko is doing plenty of talking amongst his favorite F1 media outlets. Now, in addition to the 82-year-old Austrian's initial explanation for the Lawson decision, which had described his mental state as a punch-drunk boxer going down for the least time, Marko today has spoken to the energy drinks iHouse media outlet Service TV. "In order to save his career, we decided to send him back to Racing Bulls," Marko declared magnanimously to the Austrian channel. This on top of the fact that the team argue Tsunoda will better help the troublesome RB21 car is now the party line. Marko admits over the years only Max Verstappen has truly been able to master the Red Bull F1 car designs. "In all these years," Marko added, "Max is the only one who can handle the car optimally. For a young driver, we see that it's even more difficult. If we had just left Liam in the car, we think his performance under pressure would have been even worse." Yet the very reason Red Bull overlooked their Japanese driver, with over 88 Grand Prix starts when compared to Lawson's 11, was stated at the time because Yuki's metal temperament was questionable. That careful analysis across a full season has now been torn up following 2 F1 race weekends where Liam Lawson has struggled with the RB21. Apparently in just those 2 weekends, Tsunoda has now demonstrated he has developed the mental toughness for the job of being Verstappen's teammate in a difficult-to-drive car, something even the vastly experienced Sergio Perez failed to manage in the end. Having learned his fate in December, the outgoing Checo had this to say for his replacement. "Being teammates with Max at Red Bull as a young driver, I wouldn't like to be in those shoes if I'm honest," said Checo. "People cannot underestimate the level of challenge that there is in this seat. Yet Tsunoda always appeared a better fit on this front, given his feisty demeanor behind the wheel and aggressive driving style. Apart from the odd rude colloquial faux pas, Yuki is a pleasant character in the paddock and a favorite with the English-speaking media. Yet his aggressive attitude behind the wheel combined with a car capable of race wins and podiums meant he was in fact the perfect in-house replacement Red Bull had for the outgoing Perez. Red Bull just made a huge mistake, as Marko admitted. Honda had offered before the decision was made to promote Lawson to sponsor the Red Bull team to the tune of an extra $20 million a year should they make Tsunoda the latest teammate for Verstappen. A marginally revised deal is believed to have been done to get the Japanese driver into the RB21 Tome for his and Honda's home race in Suzuka. Yuki will now head to Japan with the eyes of the Formula One world upon him, and never will a free practice one in Suzuka have garnished such global attention since maybe the arrival of Verstappen himself into the sport. So what you think about Jos Verstappen's statement? Like and comments below.